Hey, welcome to Construction Update. These are the hottest stories in construction this week. Our top 10 most read stories on For Construction Pros. I'm Larry Stewart. I'm the editor of ForConstructionPros.com.
And I'm Dormy Roberts with Pavement Maintenance and Reconstruction. So we're starting at number 10 this week, as we do every week. Funding for bipartisan infrastructure legislation would only pay for half of the spending. So the analysis from the Congressional Budget Office shows that about half of the proposed $550 billion in new spending on roads, bridges, and broadband would be financed by adding to the nation's debt. So figuring out how to finance the legislation has been one of the most fraught debates while negotiating the bill. However, as of August 10th, the Senate finally passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, next moving to the House.
Yeah, some interesting politics behind that funding, those funding decisions as always, and we've got some content on that as well. Number 9, the 9th most read story this week is 7 mandatory management meetings your company must have. George Headley is a contractor's business coach who regularly makes site-leading contributions to For Construction Pros. And here he's talking about why a regular routine of mandatory meetings, I know that's kind of a dirty word, but mandatory meetings is essential to staying in touch with estimators, project managers, and field supervisors. George has been consulting with contractors for a long time and is not known for bandwagon jumping. He explains which of these meetings are important and why they're key to allowing a business owner and manager to focus on planning, strategizing, and leading a profitable, growing business.
And number 8 most read article this week is Electric Compact Utility Loader Overcomes Challenges in a Church Renovation. So as many contractors know, there are so many unforeseen obstacles and challenges to any project. So in this job site story, selecting the right equipment to rise above these difficulties was crucial. And the crew actually used the battery-powered Toro E Dingo, and this machine addressed all the challenges, and the results, the project is set to be completed on time.
Yeah, the power of electric work is not to be underestimated. It's really interesting. So continuing on with the theme of infrastructure bill, number 7 is detours still lead to passage of bipartisan infrastructure bill. The Senate's finally passed this historic $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill with big increases in road, bridge, and water spending. And the bill's future in the House could be an immediate vote, or it could be more struggle. Passage in the House isn't really a slam dunk, with Speaker Pelosi tying the vote on this measure to that of a budget resolution that opens the door to a $3.5 trillion collection of spending for centerpieces of President Biden's domestic agenda. Find out how Democrats and Republicans are approaching this related main bout and why House progressives might be bringing more intrigue to the melee.
And I know a lot of people in the industry, their fingers are crossed that this thing clears through, and hopefully some federal infrastructure dollars will be hitting the roadways out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So Mine Expo, to highlight massive machines and technology advancements for the mining industry, is in the number 6 spot. In this article, editor Becky Schultz, she explores the latest cutting-edge technologies, innovations, systems, and equipment that can take mining operations to the next level.
Yeah, the photos in that story really take the term diesel porn to a new level. You're going to check that sucker out. Number 5 on the list is flop back to budget restraint betrays Senate indifference to infrastructure. The government doesn't work platform is plain as day when self-styled budget hawks revived to circle the infrastructure bill after 4 years of spending on other priorities like drunken sailors. Now, this is a blog that I wrote, and it's really a reminder to look for the real agenda of a group of politicians who abruptly start worrying about the federal deficit over an issue they've neglected for 4 years, particularly after they've added $3.9 trillion to the national debt before COVID stimulus spending.
I think the word of the week is infrastructure. So can we coin this infrastructure week, Larry?
You know what? Every week is infrastructure week at For Construction Pros.
So the number 4 is a question and answer article compiled by editor Jonathan Kozlowski, and it's about this ultra high performance concrete capable of 48,500 PSI. So the AEEE, Capital Holding and Advisory Group, announced the completion of a new sustainable UHPC, which this mix can produce a lifespan of 300 years for bridges, 50% weight reduction, and virtually eliminate the steel rebar. So if this topic piques your interest, make sure to check it out.
That would be huge if that technology could be made common. Number 3 on the list, AEC firms are twice as likely to face ransomware attacks as other industries. More than 30% of architecture, engineering, and construction companies that fall prey to successful cyber attacks are victims again, one or more times, according to new research from Ignite. FBI internet crime statistics measure a 21% jump in reported ransomware incidents in 2019 to nearly 2,500. And Ignite's study of their own broad cloud security customer base across many industries finds that many access points to data in construction's dispersed workforce offers opportunities for bad actors. Learn more about your exposure from Ignite's data and some solutions to securing technology-enabled workflow.
Wow, that seems super deep, and contractors and construction owners should know this stuff, right?
Right. Well, number 3 on the list for the week, so people are really interested.
Yeah, and sitting at the number 2 spot this week is Glenn O. Hawbaker is to pay a record $21 million in restitution for Davis-Bacon wage violations. So contractors working on federally funded projects are subject to this Davis-Bacon and related act and are required to pay prevailing hourly wages and fringe benefits. So in this news piece, Hawbaker, a third-generation construction company, pled to no contest this week to 4 felony counts of theft by failure to make required deposits of funds. And Larry, you wrote this story, so it's quite interesting.
There's a lot of challenge here. And the interesting thing is that Hawbaker, they pled no contest, and they maintain that they have been acting according to advice from counsel and have been, scrutinized their Davis-Bacon provisions by the state and federal government for years with no problems. Again, it's kind of a cautionary tale, it's something to take a look at, and we're seeing more activity, legal activity regarding to Davis-Bacon issues here coming up. And so it's something worth paying attention to. So number 1 on the list is VBC approved to buy troubled Katerra assets. This is not your standard merger and acquisition news. It's at the top of contractors' minds this busy mid-season week. Remember that Katerra is a construction startup that has been burning through more than $1 billion investment dollars, attempting to reinvent the entire construction model with a vertically integrated, automated, modular construction process. And while that might seem like science fiction to you, literally they got more than $1 billion worth of invested funds to put this together. And while it didn't work out financially for them, this other company, Volumetric Building Companies, VBC, here's another modular builder who's apparently willing to keep pouring money into charting a new course through the way we put up buildings. It's a pretty interesting story, and not surprising that it's in the top, even though once you know those things, even though it seems like, it's just a merger and acquisition story. Anyway, there it is. That's our list. Thank you so much for your help, Dormy.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all have a great weekend and stay safe out there.